Question 20, Don says, it seems to me that the primary thing of importance for those on the service to others path is the development of an attitude which I can only describe as vibration. This attitude would be developed through meditation, ritual, and a developing appreciation for the creation or creator, which results in a state of mind that can only by me be expressed as an increase in vibration or oneness with all. Could you expand on and correct that statement? Ra gives a very short answer, but I will expand on this as much as I can. They say, we shall not correct this statement, but shall expand upon it by suggesting that to those qualities you may add the living day by day and moment by moment, for the true adept lives more and more as it is. That's just a bomb that Ra gave us there. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to Don's question, which is not a question, it's just an affirmation. He says that the primary thing of importance for those on the service to others path, so all positive people who are in the process of recognizing their true being, that's what the positive path is. The path of enlightenment, the path of unity, the path of no separation. There is I call it a tension. It's an ego tension that exists in all students of the spiritual path, if I can even use that trite word or phrase. You see, this tension is to say that it's all well and good. You see, intellectually, we initially understand unity. We might even feel it experientially in a mystical experience or some flash of unity that we may have, because that's how it happens. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a flash. And from that flash, I remember listening to a Zen guy, American dude, and he is explaining how this moment of awakening was for him, which was a typical Satori. And he described it as if you've been looking at a scenario, right? And suddenly the curtains, they move slightly open and close, and you get a sort of glimpse on what's behind it. And you say, whoa, there's something behind the curtain, you see? And what you saw was so impactful that you fall in love with it. And you cannot you see, your eyes are still looking at the stage, but you're drawn by what's behind it. And so the more you are drawn to it, of course, what's behind the stage will keep open it for you, you see? So this is how it happens. However, it's natural for people who have any sort of awakening, could be anything, to be overly attracted by what they saw. And what they saw was just a brief description of the mind that sort of articulated what it experienced. To give you an example, because I know I'm sounding a little bit of an abstract here. When you look at a tree, and your mind is trying to make sense of it. You see, and your mind will come up with a sort of explanation. But that explanation is never enough to explain the tree. And that's all well and good. You know, it's a way to transmit it to your fellows. You know, when you go back to the village and say, I saw a tree, such and such diameter and whatnot. You know, you come up with the intellectual. And now imagine if instead of going out for the tree, again, we just get lost in the description of it. So this is part of the overuse of the intellect to try to understand unity. And one of the downsides of this, I believe, is that we become infatuated with the description of the tree. In this case, we get we romanticize the description of unity, and we only experience it or explain it in terms of duality, which is unfortunate because it's one step, it's the closest step that we can get to unity. But we get stuck in it. And so this tension that I'm talking about is that the resistance to release that potential burden of believing that we live in separation. You see, in more clear terms, what is happening is that the individual is afraid of letting go of everything. I mean, it's wanting to let go of all those things that are negative, suffering and depressions and anxiety and so on, but it doesn't want to let go of all the good things, of all the pleasures, and I don't blame people for that, because guess what? That's where the enjoyment is. You see, when you get more interested in what's behind the curtain, you have to let go of everything. You have to let go of yourself. What you believe to be needs to go away. And there is a huge resistance to that. I understand it. I felt it. I know what it feels. But you have to let go if you want to see what's behind the curtain. You have to get naked. That means everything has to go. So, why am I talking about this? Because this is the view of the service to others path, the path of unity, the path of that which is. You see, that's what Ross says. The negative path is the path of that which is not. The positive path is of that which is. That which is not is separation. That which is unity. And so in this desire to romanticize the view of unity in terms of duality, we get lost because we give too much validation to duality. And so things that I keep hearing often, mostly in my Spanish audience, I have to admit, because of so many reasons that I won't explain here, it's not necessary, but they're laden with concepts and too much metaphysical jargon that it's not easy to let go. And so there is this resistance to it and saying, no, we're here in the 3D because we're here to experience separation. We is populace, is not I. The self is here to perceive separation. You see, there is still a sort of attachment to the we, to the separation, to the manyness of us. This is a normal issue that people will encounter in their path to self-realization. It's not self as me, the personality. It is the one self that exists. That is self-realization. It's not you as my mission from the Galactic Federation. That's self-realization. That's just another story your mind tells you. And that's okay, you can play that. It's like children playing in the playground and making up all kinds of stories. We know that they are not that. They're not the cowboy and the police and the hero and the dragon and so on. All of that is just made up. But that is the purpose of having fun. Maturing is realizing that, okay, it's a character that I play, but I'm not that. And the biggest joke of all time is that we as an entity believe to exist. You see? So I want to talk about this tension that is created in the path of the adept. So Don keeps going on and saying, development of an attitude which I can only describe as vibration. This is the visualization that Don has, and I think it's beautiful. This attitude would be developed through meditation, ritual, and developing appreciation for the creation or creator, which results in a state of mind that can only be expressed by me as an increase in vibration or oneness with all. See, it's a very nice way to describe it. This is beautiful, in fact, when he says that this attitude, the attitude of service to others, you see, of wanting, the attitude that you took once you saw that there was a glimpse behind the curtain. That is developed through meditation. You can see meditation as that distraction that you have. You're not looking at the scene, at the characters anymore. You're just looking at what's behind the curtain, and you stay there. That's meditation. You see, you're going beyond whatever it is that's going on. The mind is playing. Characters are going about the stage and so on. You're interested in what's behind the curtain. Ritual. I wouldn't say ritual. Ritual has a very strong word. I think ritual is more discipline. I would call discipline. Whatever it is that you do, discipline. It could be yoga, it could be hanging from a bar, it could be, contemplating the river or the sky or whatever it is. That's ritualistic to me. And that invokes magic, by the way. In law of one language, magic. And a developing appreciation for the creation or creator, which results in a state of mind that can only be expressed as an increase in vibration or oneness with all. Beautiful. Yes, there is a developing appreciation for what's behind the curtain. That's what's creating the whole play. Everything that we see in the back, all the things, that's the interesting part. That's what we call consciousness. You see, you get a glimpse of consciousness, pure consciousness. And that is a result of the mind, you see, in a state of mind that can only be expressed as an increase in vibration. I wouldn't call it an increase in vibration, but oneness, yes. We can call it an increase in vibration. That's actually fine. Now, what does Ra says? They say, we shall not correct this statement, but shall expand upon it by a suggestion that to those qualities, very important here, this is the beautiful part that Ra says, you may add the living day by day and moment by moment, for the true adept lives more and more as it is. Beyond rituals, beyond meditation as a sort of activity, beyond activity, there is the present moment. And I know this sounds trite, I know this sounds redundant so much that we talk about the eternity of now, the power of the moment. But everything is there because we need to give up the self, the apparent self, the ego self, to enjoy the moment. You cannot enjoy the moment when you're thinking you are somebody, because you're thinking. And so you're drawing energy from the moment to create a persona. This is why the extension of the separate self goes into anxiety and collapse and depression. I'm saying the unstable separate self. The stable separate self goes into the negative path because it does believe that is definitely something out of this reality. The rest is just something that needs to be put in order. But you have to live here. You see, the living day by day. This is the beautiful part. This is the essence of non-duality. It's not living behind the curtain. That's a mistake. You don't go back there. It's just that you know that what's in the stage is not real. It's being enacted by characters or actors. And those actors are all in your head, in your mind. And you love it because you say, aha, this is it. This is what's playing out. It's not me. See? It's not me. Because that's something I cannot identify with. Nor can I identify, of course, with anything else. Especially what's coming out. What's coming out is just a flow of the universe. Just like the water is flowing in the rivers. You are flowing from the universe. Your thoughts, your actions, everything. You cannot ascribe and take credit for anything that is happening. You are the happening. And the happening cannot take control of that. There's only the illusion of it. And so there is the non-dual view of this. That is the true adept who lives more and more as it is.